Follow at But Would You and you'll be all right. What up, squad? We back in the building, man. I got my main man. Y'all might know him, but this boy a little underrated. We got a special guest. He gonna be here quite often, so get used to him. I bring you no one other, not a better brother. From the back of the class, we got my guy, DP, on the stream. What's good, baby?
Yes, sir. What's good with it, man? What's up, family?
Not much, man. You know, I just always gotta bring a little bit of hypeness, a little bit of extraness to let people know. You know what I mean? Say with my chest out here.
For sure, man. Hey, man, that intro smooth, bro. I like it. I was over here bobbing my head, dancing and stuff, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm rocking with it.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I started a crypto community in late 2020, early 2021, somewhere around there, called But Would Ya? And it was more so like a call to action for not only myself, but people I cared about in life or people I wanted to see do better. Like, yo, but would you do something about it? Like, you got all this technology, all these chances to learn, and then specifically for crypto, that's where my focus was. Is like, but would you? It was just like a call to action, right? And it just stuck. I was just like, yo, that's kind of hard. I never heard anybody say it. It's like you shoulda, you coulda, but would you? And so we got the little crypto community started, and my homie AJ, to bring the story full circle, AJ Forsyth, he went ahead and threw that video, that little intro together for me because that's my brother, and we I think we hit a lick on our weave. He was like, "Hey, bro, how can I help you out, man?" Like, and the vibes were high, and
that's good work, man. If you out there listening, that's good work. I might have to get at you, bro, because that was nice.
You already know I'll make the proper introductions if we need them. But yeah, man, how are you? How's everything?
Man, everything is good, bro. Everything is good. You know, we smooth out here in these crypto streets, taking note of what's happening. We're still in the midst of a bear market, but we're seeing some promise. Seeing like the space is excited about this September. Surprisingly, as people are excited that September has historically been the worst month for Bitcoin. So they're excited about the dips because this is usually probably like one of the last big dips before we start getting into bull territory for the upcoming year.
Yeah, man. I remember, since we're kind of going back on the 2021 route, I remember always trying to absorb as much content as possible, but it's important to absorb the right content, right? And the dude Ben Cowan, I found him early on, and I just always thought he was for better or worse, I think he gives it to you kind of just from a data mindset, which I'm all about.
Yeah.
And I did just see he just tweeted, he's like, "All right, guys, we're about to enter this depression phase. You know what I mean? Don't let it overtake you. Just DCA and let the pain go away."
Yeah, Ben Cowan does good work. He's good. Crown is good as well.
Yeah, man. Crown, he be
Crown doesn't miss, man. Crown is down to the Rain Man or something, bro.
And he be so casual with it too. He's like this outer world little not little Viking that just came through and just yeah, fuck you, make a fart sound, shit sounds, but we're going to the moon. He's just such a unique character, but also
and he got the hairstyle to go with it.
Yeah. Well, he got his shit touched up. I seen him. I said, "Okay, boy, got your shit touched up. I ain't mad at you."
I think Crown out here dating now. It take a woman.
I think he got a whole fiance. He got a whole fiance. I still be keeping up with it with his channel because, like you said, man, I think a lot of YouTubers and just people that put out content in general get a bad rap. Sometimes, especially the ones that are genuinely trying to help, right? But when you got good information, I heard once somebody say, never beef with information. If the information is good, it don't matter where it came from. The information is good, that you're not gonna beef with that. So
for sure.
Shout out to the guy.
Yeah, and that's factual, bro. A lot of times, I saw a quote myself, since we quoting quotes. Actually, I saw it today. Somebody said, even though you may shoot the messenger, it doesn't kill the truth. And I was like, them bars, bro. That's bars. But it's true. So you always gotta bow down to the information, especially when it's good information.
And just so you don't outbar me, I saw a quote the other day. My man said, everybody got a 2D. He said everybody got a to-do list, but tell me how many of y'all have a to-don't list? Because the things that you're doing is what you don't need to be doing to get where you want to be. And I was like, oh shit, you just snapped on me. I do need to slow down on smoking. Are you right? But anyway, dog, back to knowing it all, yo. I didn't even intro the show. So if you made it this far, we're 5 minutes in. So we might as well give you a little intro now.
Yep.
My name is Justin. Appreciate you for tapping in. We got the crypto community called But Would Ya? DP is a renowned Web3 researcher, and we came together, man. We started following each other. We just share some good ideas. DP has a phenomenal Substack. I was reading it, had to be like, yo, bro, I had to shoot him a message like, look, man, you got any inside alpha? Because like I'm a loyal follower, dog, and this shit be right here. What you got
Hey,
right
man,
here?
hold on. Time before you get into that though, bro. You being way too modest, man. First of all, for those that don't know, Justin is the man on Twitter. He is. So he's been supporting me since day one. Like, it seems like from the way he talks about it, it seems like we've probably been in contact for maybe like a couple weeks or so. Nah, man, me and this man have been casually running across each other for like the past year, almost 2 years now, right? And because for those that don't know, I used to be a researcher with Elio Trades, and I used to
oh, if you didn't know, hold up. Oh
yeah,
shit, what's that?
out,
You dropped that?
shout out to my guy
okay.
Elliot, good guy. But yeah, I used to be a researcher there, and while I was there, I used to write a lot of deep dives that went on the Elio Trade Substack. Shameless plug for anybody that wants to read any work from DP. Go to a Substack, click on deep dives, and you'll see my work. But I used to release those deep dives to Twitter, and Justin was one of the first people. That Bud Woodgy account was one of the first accounts that used to big me up and show me love. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to show love back. And we always, we always planned on, hopping on the call, and we just finally made it happen after all this time. And, we got on and saw that, we had chemistry, and we decided, hey man, let's try, releasing something to the community, because we see an untapped market for people that are in underrepresented positions and underrepresented communities. They need this information probably more than anybody else. So, that's what we're here to do. And that's what we got KnowItAlts from.
Yeah, for real, man. And the funny thing is, it's like the people that need the information, the more entertaining you make something, obviously the more eyes you're gonna get on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that really need it, like, you don't need to be entertained. You need to sit down and like open a book, ma chicken. Oh, shout out to Wifey popping in the back. She made a guest appearance. Recently got engaged. So shout out to me too.
Nice.
But yeah, the people that need it, right? The people that need it, like, I just feel like you see a big source, right? And you rush to the big source because you're like, hey, that's like what everyone does, right? And I understand it. Like, I get where it's coming from, but when you have like smaller accounts, like I feel like, you and I are at right now, you can really like touch the people. Like, you can respond to the 3 DMs you get,
right.
like those messages that you get saying, oh man, you really helped me do XYZ. Like they do mean just a little bit more, because it's like, damn, like someone is out there watching, like, or is out there listening. And so, hope everyone get a chance to come around, come be a know-it-all, chill with the know-it-alls. DP had a good idea. He was like, yeah, why don't we just call it know-it-alls, man? Everybody in the space is a know-it-all. I was thinking about using this name for something else. And I said, well, we can't use the same name. We can do know-it-alts, we're the alternative. We know all about it.
Nice.
And there's a couple funny word plays there, but we won't even get into it. But anyway, man, we can talk a little crypto. This week has been absolutely insane. Like, there's been nonstop news.
Let's get into it, man. We got for the audience, man, we got a nice little list of all kind of stuff that's been going on in the space that we've put together that we want to jump into and talk about. So what's the first topic we want to cover, Justin?
What do you think the biggest one this week? I mean, the market in general, the market in general has been pulling back because the Fed decision, right? So we had that Bart Simpson little Bart chart. We had that pump up because everyone was expecting the SEC decision, or I'm sorry, the grayscale ruling to go in grayscale's favor, and it did. And then you find out that obviously there's going to be no real decisions made on the ETF until those push out dates. I think there was like I think it's like 45 days they have legally before they actually need to make another decision, and then the cycle kind of resets.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing about that whole ETF discussion. Man, that's been something that so many people have been trying to get ETFs since doggone 2018 almost. I believe like Kraken and the Winklevoss twins were like the first people trying to really approach the SEC for an ETF. And the SEC just will not grant an ETF to anybody. But here's the thing, this is BlackRock we're talking about. This is the people that asset
Big
manager
body.
that manages like what $14 trillion worth of assets, something like that in that region. The biggest asset manager in the world. So if
Not
they
just the
can't,
city, the world, Craig.
yeah, the whole world. So if they can't get it, you know, I don't really see anybody else getting it, but I think they will get it. But the SEC, they've always played these games where they wait to the last date. You know, they're gonna take their sweet time
Mhm.
because I guess they want to make sure they cross all their T's and dot their I's, but also if they have any kind of leverage or any kind of other plays that they, you know, that they can utilize, they're trying to make sure that they aren't just I guess, you know, kind of giving a BlackRock free reign to print money, which I mean they already have free reign, right? So I think the
I
whole
mean, when you
space,
were, yeah.
yeah, we're waiting on the ETF. I'm excited for him to get it because that, you know, I'm interested in seeing what happens when we get an ETF, right? Because everybody swears up and down, you know, when we get the ETF, that's when Bitcoin is really gonna do it. So we'll see.
We'll see how.
Uh-oh. All right, people, we'll give Justin a little time to pop back in.
Yeah.
All right, you back, you back.
Yo, my whole thing, I just had like a little pop up. I was like, "Oh, what happened?" And then it's just like the whole situation just crashed on me.
Oh, it's all good.
I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. All right, but good thing we're just recording and we're not live, so we're good to go there.
I think even if we
Um,
were live, people would enjoy it.
let me tell this. Boom. I wanted to hide that. But yeah. So anyway, back to what you were saying. So you think BlackRock, I was gonna say when you really dig into it, like the 14, however many trillions of dollars assets under management, like they control enough of like every sector that it's
Hmm.
going to make an impact, like no matter what they do. So they can go in many different, directions and kind of steer the market in those ships, right? It always reminds me of like the 2008 financial crisis when they weren't like correctly pricing credit default swaps, and it's
Yeah.
like they weren't pricing the credit default swaps accurately until they were able to sell enough to get on the right side of that trade, and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden they priced them accurate, right? And so the same type of situation with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, they deny it, act like it's not a big deal. They get on the right side of the trade, and now the marketing is about to start picking it up. Like speaking of Elio, I saw on his channel the other day, he was talking about you have, one of the largest asset managers in the world about to
Yeah.
start marketing. Like when they launch ETFs, like they do full marketing campaigns. And from coming from somebody that's, legit working for a publicly traded marketing company, like them things hit, they work. Like it's the
Yeah.
reason people spend, millions and billions of dollars on marketing.
Yeah, and once Aladdin, which is BlackRock's their trading arm. Once Aladdin gets a hold of this ETF thing, man, it pretty much will send Bitcoin through the roof, right? So we'll see, man. But if you want to really dig into the history of like BlackRock and Blackstone, a great book to read is King of Capital. That's one of my favorite books. So Steve Schwarzman, who is the founder and CEO of Blackstone. Um, that's a book basically about how he got his rise, and then BlackRock is kind of like not a subsidiary, but it's basically a derivative of Blackstone. the CEO, who was it? Larry Fink, I believe,
Yeah,
of
Mr.
BlackRock.
Fink.
Yeah, Larry Fink. He originally got his start at Blackstone under Steve Schwarzman. So yeah, it's a great book to check out.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I got the ticker running in the bottom. So if y'all want to go check it out, it's called King of Capital: The Remarkable Rise, Fall, and Rise Again of Steve Schwartzman and Blackstone.
My guy was
Um,
super quick with it. I didn't even notice that.
oh, well, we had a few technical difficulties. We just moved to a new studio, so the setup isn't quite right yet. So don't worry, guys. We're gonna have high production value. I have my producer over there. Hey yo. Sit back. So we're gonna have this thing right, man. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it popping. We're gonna try to bring y'all some, laid back but educational and informative news. We don't know it all, but we know it all amount. So watch out.
I like
I still
that.
gotta get my zingers right. They ain't all the way there yet.
Now I'm rocking with it. We don't know it all, but we know it all.
But I know AR, that's for sure. And so speaking of Chainlink, we was talking about Chainlink a little bit earlier and all the things they got going on. We just saw that big the big news that Swift had actually used the Chainlink Oracle to process a few different payments. What are your thoughts on that? As I do some quick background googling to see some stats we got.
Man, I think it's revolutionary. First of all, Chainlink is actually one of my favorite projects because it's, a lot of people call it boring, but that's kind of like why I like it. And also
Right.
when you all go and look into the company, they have a real company that they're growing, pretty much they're a growing enterprise that right now. Um, I'm not sure if they hit the 1,000 employee mark yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't close to it. They're constantly hiring, and they're constantly developing. Right? These are people that pretty much had a head down in developing. Like the it's not the only Oracle solution in Web3, but it's the best. It's by far and wide the best. They have, they're integrated in them in pretty much all the projects, and they pretty much have a monopoly on the Oracle space at this moment. I think it's very promising and very exciting that they've actually been able to have somebody like Swift use them as a solution. Um, this is what blockchain technology and Web3 promises to bring to the mainstream, right? And so now we're starting to see it firsthand. So I always had this theory, right, where I've been in cryptocurrency, known about Bitcoin since 2009, 2010. Didn't buy any because I didn't understand what it was. But I used to talk my mom's head off about it. She would always be like, "Well, Dayton, if you're gonna talk about it so much, why don't you buy some?" I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't buy any. But anyway, so make a long story short, I got back into cryptocurrency around 2017. And this is around the time when ICO mania was popping off, right? So I always say, like, through the bear cycles through 2000, since 2017, or the bull and bear cycles, the market cycles, the ebbs and flows, the narrative has always been, so 2017 through 2020-ish, that was the ICO phase. So now you got the white papers. 2020 to 2022, 2020, I say at the beginning of 2023, this has been like the beta phase, the MVP phase. And now I believe this next market cycle will be the fully released product phase, where now you're starting to see companies actually release full products onto the market, and now they're starting to gain real consumers, and these companies are starting to go from startups to real functioning companies now. So
You heard it
I'm
here first, ladies and gentlemen. Cardano will have a minimum viable product by
wait, wait,
20.
wait, 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 slow down, slow down, slow down. We got to slow down because look, Cardano is still in white paper phase, in my opinion. Like, and I know we probably gonna get so much hate for this, but I don't care. People know, man. Look, Charles Hoskinson he's a good spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they do great. They should transition. Cardano should transition from a layer one to a research company because they do great research. They release great papers. Um, they theoretically they have great proposals for what should happen with a layer one, but his I ain't gonna go too deep into it. Let me not bang on the Cardano community too much, because they now one thing they have a loyal community. Their community is
Yeah,
damn loyal.
I'm part of it, yo. I rock with Cardano. Like, I mean, I throw jabs every now and then, just like anybody else. But nah, I always stand up for Cardano. I still hold a nice amount of Cardano. Um, I champion Cardano for people to buy it at 30 cents. Whether they did or didn't, that was on them. But this was also in 2020, so they had their chance to do what they did with that. But nah, like I think Cardano's promising. But anytime you talk about a long-term project finally coming to market, it's like the first thing that just pops in your mind, right? Is just like, oh shit, you mean Cardano? Is that finally coming? So I was just throwing some quick jabs. But nah, I still even got some CNFTs, dog. I've been around the block with Cardano. Those are my guys. But then you start as the leaves turn, you're like, all right, man, like I'm still rocking with you, but I'm gonna just let you sit over there for a little bit.
Bro, I think I got some. Do I have some? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I haven't sold any, but I have CNFTs too. And I'm glad you said that, because I actually forgot I had some.
I know, like it's one of those things, like it because it hasn't gotten any attention. It's like, oh, who knows? It's one of those things where you might come back and have a lottery ticket just sitting there, like, oh, hey, look at this.
Yeah, man.
Like, could you imagine coming back and being like, you were playing on chain, and then like you heard about CryptoPunks, and you're like, why does CryptoPunks sound so familiar? And then you like just go to a random old MetaMask wallet that you had, and you see you hold like 3 CryptoPunks. Like, what?
I was about to say, you got 3 or 4 of them joints in there, and
Yeah,
you
just
in the
sitting there,
money.
right? So I
Hope
highly
we
doubt
all
that that's
hope
gonna
this.
happen with R.
Yeah, we all hope this was gonna happen with a lot of these NFTs that we bought, especially me. Like, I got so many things in my hidden wallet right now, bro. I look, man, I forget. I go to my OpenSea. I see that I've been airdrop stuff that I didn't ask for. Like, I'm like, when did I buy 200 NFTs? And then you go look through stuff. It's all kind of little random stuff that's probably worth $5.
Right.
You
It's
know,
like, oh.
and you just hope that one day, there is somebody else to have another CryptoPunk story when the bull market takes off again.
I mean, that's the thing, right? We all got a little degen, a little gambliness in Web3. So it's like, hey, if I can hit this lottery one time, let's see what happens with it. And so, speaking of that little gamble, that little lottery, what do you think about all these like gamblified narratives that have been popping off? So I don't know if you've been keeping track, but I follow a couple like degen accounts on Twitter, and obviously you had Rollbit that was really popping off.
Mm-hmm.
You had what was it? Unibot, where you can do like the sniper trading bot. You got Banana Bot that's in there. I just seen Crypto Keith talking about PvP, this like slot machine game. They got Telegram bots where you can play poker. There was a game called Bullet where you could just do like Russian roulette, where you were just 1 to 6 people. You like everyone. Dog, there was a $60,000 I think dollar game of just Russian roulette where everyone put in 10K, and like on a Telegram bot, you just randomly pulled the trigger, and if you got shot, you were out the game, and the last person standing got 60K, like, or $50,000. Like, this is nuts. Like, what is going on?
Yo, look, check this out. So I have a friend / colleague of mine that I'm working on an NFT project with. He's over marketing, and he shall remain nameless. And I know Justin just dropped out, but I'm gonna still tell the story anyway. He's probably like the biggest DGen I know. So when it comes to gambling, like, this dude is like next level. So everything that Justin just named, he's on all of that, bro. And the way that how I feel about GambleFi, I think it's every cycle, we have a narrative, we have new narratives that pop off. And right now, GambleFi is pretty much a way for people to, we all look for, in the bear market, people always look for a way to still bring in income, especially people that are doing Web3 full time, and not necessarily doing Web3 working for a company, but doing Web3 where, they've been trading and stuff like that. So right now it's all about, people are still in hustle mode, man. So when you see like these gambling projects popping off, and these platforms being used, it's pretty much people just trying to get their stacks together to prepare for the next bull run. That's why you see a lot of these, the meme coins and the shit coins are in style right now too, because people are just trying to figure out where the next trade is, where the next little bit of liquidity is coming from. So right now,
Exactly.
people, especially people that are entering the space right now, you have to be very, very careful because it's a lot of scams popping off, and it's a lot of pump and dumps popping off
Yeah,
too. That's what
I
happens in
would
the bear
definitely
market.
I would definitely say with the pump and dumps, right? Because it's like you got people, that are hearing about it, right? The little
Mm-hmm.
ripples, like, oh, well, like crypto is low right now. Maybe I'll check it out. Not a lot of people, but the people that are coming in to do that, and they're seeing like, oh, what's the hot narrative? They're seeing like all these gambling coins go up nonstop. And then it's really just kind of the bigger players that are just rotating their capital, right? Like I got wrecked on a rotation recently, where I was rocking with base swap, because everything was going to Coinbase's new L2
Yeah,
base, and their main dex.
scam central.
Yeah, they were scamming crazy over there. But their main dex was called B Swap at the time, and it had like 40. No, when I found it, had like 15 million TVL. But any other DApp on there only had like 3 million. So it was like
Yeah.
obviously the leading DApp, and it went from 15 million TVL up to 50 million TVL.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then the narrative started to shift, and so all the TVL just rotated out of that. And then there was a new launch called like Aerodex or Aero something, Aerodime, whatever, that just launched on base L2. And now it's like the new popping deck. So the capital just rotated, right? Because they want to get that yield. And so they're rotating to the new decks to get that yield. But if you're not paying attention, like I just happened to not be, I had been watching it nonstop. And then I just happened to like slip up for 2 days and not check the TVLs, check DeFi Llama to see what was going on. And sure enough, of course, as soon as you turn your eye away, they rotated all the capital out of B Swap into the new launch of Aerodime or whatever it was.
Yep.
And the price, you see the price just crater from like $13 down to 150 in like 48, maybe like 3 days.
And speaking of that, I feel like a great segue at this moment would be to talk about French Tech that's been popping off.
FT, baby, Big Clout 2.0. Is that what you
Man,
said? That's what you told
yeah,
me.
that's what I'm calling it. B Clout 2.0. So for people that don't know, Friends Tech is basically this platform that came out that allows people to buy to basically buy. I wouldn't say stocks, but take positions into a content creator and buy their coins, and speculate on that person's success, I guess you could say. Either way, it's been short lived, right? And
Yeah, so far.
my thing was, first of all, let me ask you, how did you feel about Friends Tech when it first dropped?
Well, I was hype on it. Like I wanted something new. Like I'm always like I like to be on Twitter looking for the new narratives of like what's going on. Like because obviously if you can catch something early enough, not only you can make a nice little bag on it, but you can
Yeah.
also grab some content out of there too, right? Like people find value where they don't. People find value in you when they see something that's not like a little bit out the norm, or just you're a little bit quicker, you're a little bit earlier, right? So if you see a narrative kind of popping off, and you're like, hey, like you guys should check this out, and like one or two people see it, they're like, oh, I do check that out, and they something benefits from it. Like I get hype on that. Like I'm like, oh yeah, we out here. And so I was hype on it, right? I saw Ansem talking about it. I started following the guy Racer. I started looking at his background. I was like, okay, like seems like he supported community. What they were building seemed like it was going to be cool, but I got on it as soon as it dropped. Like within it, like launching, like I was on within the first like 2-3 hours of the entire platform launching. And or maybe sooner. I was really quick on there. And I was super hyped, but it was so laggy, like you couldn't use it. It was unusable. And still to this day, it's like pretty much unusable. They dropped a couple new features, but nothing that's really spectacular, exciting. I think there is promise with it if it finds the right lane and the right use case, but the platform needs to be built out, way stronger. And on top of that, like the spread fees are absolutely crazy. Like, they're charging basically for you to buy or sell. It's like a 10% tax. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it comes out to like a crazy tax for you. So even if you are trying to like speculate a little bit and just have fun on like, oh, who's going to be relevant, who's going to be popping off, you can't even really do that. So,
But so let me tell you what my concern is with Friends Tech. I feel like anytime you give people the opportunity to kind of speculate, especially in the form of like buying coins or anything that resembles buying stock into somebody, and with them with the expectation that you will gain some sort of value, and based on this coin or stock that you're buying that's attached to a content creator or an influencer, um, it opens the door for a few things, right? To me, it opens the door to be classified as you selling securities, whether knowingly or unknowingly. That's number one. It opens the door to um, influencers basically taking advantage of the mechanics or the utilities of their coins and doing things to manipulate the prices, which I haven't joined the platform, but I've joined a few spaces where people were talking about some of these people were already taking advantage of the mechanics, and having people were basically influencing the price.
Right.
That's number two. And number three is just, it also opens the door for people to, because when you join, when it was one of those things where when people join the app, they automatically were without unknowingly, they were automatically were given consent to the platform to go ahead and start issuing out coins on their behalf, right? If I'm not mistaken, a lot of those influencers, whether they wanted people to buy their coins or not, they were put into the whole rigmarole of them having their coins released. Because I joined a few spaces where a few influencers were hopping on like, "Yo, guys, please don't buy my coin." I just hopped on to kind of see what it was about. I had no intentions. I didn't know that it will automatically sign me up for my coin to be released. Elliot was one of them, that was saying like, I had no idea that this was one of the mechanics behind this. And guys, please don't purchase my stuff, because I don't plan on like doing anything to deliver or manipulate any value that is attached to me or my name. So, but then you had some people that I was listening to that were embracing it, like, yeah, I'm planning on offering this and offering that to kind of help boost my price. And I heard one young lady, I don't know her name, and I wouldn't say her name either because of what I'm about to say, but she was actually saying like, yeah, I think it's fun because I've been holding like shareholder meetings with all the people that bought my coin. And I know she felt like that was innocent, and what she was saying, like, probably, no harm, no foul, but no, like, the language, just the language by itself around, I've been holding shareholder meetings. Like, yo, like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, you're
not what you
wilding.
want to be on a space saying. Like, you don't even want to classify it as that, because when you do that, what you do is you open the door for you possibly open the door for legal action, right? And because, man, Justin, you've been around just like I've been around, and we've seen the cycles. No matter what a content creator or an influencer says about, that's why I never talk about projects in particular as far as like what I like or what I'm buying, or telling people that this might be a good project to look at. Like, I would tell you how to approach the space and how to think about the space, but I would never tell you what to buy, because no matter what type of disclaimers you put around it, even if you
It ain't
tell
gonna
people like
matter.
it's not gonna matter, no matter if you tell people like, this is not financial advice, don't do what you see me doing. Yeah, I might talk about this coin and I might say I'm buying it, but don't you go buy it without doing your own research. DYO, OR, blah 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 blah. People are going to follow what you say because they feel like you have the information that they don't have, and based on your track record, something that they don't know, but they don't understand how often we lose in this space, right? It's basically like you have to approach
Or
the
even
space
just
with,
how quick the space moves. Like, what could
yes,
be hot? Like, if like a topic that was like really hot and popping on Tuesday, by Saturday, right? The whole market could change and the dynamics. So then by that coming Monday, like, now things are like completely different. And like, maybe you didn't see any updated tweets, or maybe I was just busy and I didn't write any updated tweets. And now you're like
yep.
upset because of your decisions, but like you weren't paying attention. You were just going off of what you see. So
And no matter what happens, they are going to blame the influencer. It happens without fail every time. You will get blamed. So, just from her saying, shareholder meetings and people out here advertising their coins. I said, listen, when this thing falls off, because I don't see it, I don't think it's gonna be sustainable. I don't even think like it was the hottest thing like a week ago, and that was even barely
Yeah.
talked about this week. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
it was
my
talked
thing
about.
is though, like what do you think about the airdrop aspect, right? Because you know how the space is, dog. You offer any potential of anything, a free couple dollars, whatever it
It's getting
is, and
flipped.
not to mention, like, I don't know if you noticed, but like the big influencers, like I won't
Mm-hmm.
like say anybody out by name either, but you can just go on the app, right, and you can just see who has the most holders and what that price
Right.
is. The fees are there's a revenue share with those the people, those accounts. And so, if you have 50 holders and your coin price is, or your keys price is let's say half a ETH, that means that whatever, there's like 25 ETH fee, however many ETH fees trading, like people are getting bags off of this. Like when
Mm-hmm.
FaZe Bank, I think he made like 30K his first day that he signed up from the fees like that they collected. So I don't know. It's an interesting space. I like to see the space being pushed forward. I like new narratives, especially new narratives on new chains or novel narratives on new chains. I know it's not, I guess, the most novel. It's not the most unique, but it's like the most unique thing to come out so far like this year. As far as like new like social innovations within Web3. Now there could be something else out there I just don't know about yet. You can follow me at outer2294 to let me know about those. Shout out, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I do appreciate your take on that, because I was just curious, like where the space is headed. I do see there's a few Solana competitors that jumped up, and
Uh-huh.
I think there was even another ETH competitor that jumped up in regards to Friends Tech. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But on that legal side of things, or what's your thoughts there?
Man, listen, I just put it like this because I'm not a lawyer. And I know that you just have to really, really be careful, because the SEC, they as far as like how coins and projects are regulated, they haven't even put anything in black and white yet. So it's a lot of gray areas. And I feel like when they really do decide they want to get serious and come clean the space up, it's going to be a lot of people being hit, whether rightfully so or not. But the last thing I would say is for the influencers, as well as the people that are speculating on these influencers, everybody needs to tread carefully when it comes to that. I know a lot of times in this space, it's kind of like, especially with the SEC playing around as far as regulation goes, people are like, well, F that. We just got to go for what we know, because we can't wait. If we wait on them, the longer we wait on them, we'll all be broke if it was up to them. So we just going to go for what we know, which I respect it. But when it comes to certain projects like Friends Tech, that's something that I rather kind of like sit on the sidelines and I just watch how it goes. That's me in particular. I'm not knocking anybody that goes with it, but what I will knock is any influencer that kind of like sees it as an opportunity to kind of quilt a community into a new platform and take advantage of them, or make a bankroll. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, because
Yeah,
that's yeah.
it's a big difference between like degenerating on chain, trying new stuff, and like having fun with it, compared to like malicious intent, where I'm trying to kind of pull the wool over your eyes. Hey, come try this, but really, I'm making 30% of all these trades, so I just want
Yeah.
more. Like, so yeah, like there's definitely a fine line you got to walk. And speaking of influencers getting kind of sued or walking that fine line, you got the guy from Impact Theory, I think it's Tom
Bill you.
Bill you.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah,
Bill you.
and which like he always puts out good content, man. I remember watching a lot of his YouTube just on in the background. He just interviewing a bunch of interesting people. He has a studio right here in LA. Then I saw he was getting into NFTs, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, and he kind of has like a gaming. He partnered with Neo Tokyo on like some gaming stuff. So I was interested in what he had going on, and then I saw that report come out. And just curious, what does this mean for the NFT space? How are we going to move forward from this? Like, is it all over? Are NFTs dead? Should I sell all my crypto punks, or no? I'm just kidding.
No, so Tom Bilyeu, he had a project called
Kaizen, Project Kaizen or something?
yes, and so the thing was he raised $30 million, right, to release this project. And from what the case said, I guess that they haven't been delivering value to the shareholders or following through on the NFTs that they released. What I'll say is you got a lot of mixed reviews, right? I've seen, and shout out to the guys over at NFT Live, Nifty Q and Gift Dead and all of those guys. I know that Gift Dead was kind of going in on Tom a little bit because they felt like he was grifting, right?
Cash grabbing?
Yeah, cash grabbing, and he kind of like came and played the space, which I don't think that he's completely wrong. But this is what I'll say. The SEC, they gave him a lawsuit, but he came out the same day and released a tweet saying that they cleared the lawsuit up, right? And I think we have. Is there a way we can share the screen? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool.
So
It's cool if we can't.
nah, you should be good. So just go ahead and hit present down there. And then I think it's yeah, present, share screen.
Okay, hold
Is
on.
enough.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, I'm getting pop-ups on my side. Maybe it's try one more time.
Uh-huh. Let's see. All right. Can you see it?
We loading up right now. Oh yeah, I got you.
All right, bet. All right. So yeah, instead of me kind of like speculating and speaking without facts. So this is why the SEC was charged Impact Theory, Tom's project. It said they raised $30 million selling NFTs from October to December in 2021. They sold 3 tiers of a founder's key called Legendary, Heroic, and Relentless. I remember that because it was supposed to give you special access to some of like the best projects in the space or the best NFTs. And they're claiming that the project encouraged investors to view the purchase of the NFTs as investment in the business. Um, and they said that they were trying to build the next Disney, so on and so forth, and that they could deliver tremendous value. And the SEC sees that as an investment contract, and is they violated security laws. So here's the thing: they agreed to the cease and desist, and they're paying they paid $6 million in penalties, right? And so Tom released a statement later on saying that they went ahead and cleared everything up. So, but I guess for me, it's not really that bad of a deal. I stopped sharing, but can we really say that it was really a bad deal if you raise $30 million and out of that 30 million you get to keep 25.9 of it because you got hit with a $6.1 million or 23.9, excuse me, 23.9 of it.
Sound like Bank of America.
Yeah, because you got hit
That's
with a
some Bank of
six
America
point
stuff.
one million dollar fine. Like, look, that's not a bad deal. So it seems like you're able to do what you want as long as the SEC come and they get their cut.
Yeah, as
So
long as you're paying the big dog.
yeah, so in the end, we can bang on Tom all we want. We can bang on the project, but $30 million, they got in trouble with the SEC, paid a $6 million fine. Was it worth it? I think he would probably say yes. You know what I mean? Because they cleared it up. They cleared it up it didn't even take them 48 hours when the news came out. So
So
I
how
don't
are the
know,
NFT
man.
how are the NFT holders feeling right now? Do you know?
It's been mixed reviews from the community. I'm sure that they probably in the beginning, I'm sure a lot of people were probably pissed and saying that they knew something was going on. But then I also feel like a lot of them are relieved because here's the thing: you never want to feel like you're just losing out completely on your investment, right? So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
dang, we did get hit up, but thank
Call it
goodness that we went.
hopium.
Yeah, thank goodness that we went ahead and cleared it up because that means we could get back to business. But then again, I don't know what's going on with that cease and desist either. So just watch out for the grifters, people, and don't get into any projects where people promise to deliver value because we don't know, man. This space is night and day. Like everybody thought NFTs were gonna come and that was just gonna be the new thing, which it has been, but I don't think anybody really saw it going into as low of the gutter as it has been. So
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
did just see like NFTs are starting to pop back more. There was some big buys from the Bored Apes. And that floor kind of pumped a bit, but that was like,
Mhm.
how like genuine is this volume? Because Maki is in here like just dropping. I saw actually, I think someone took out like a crazy like $1.1 million loan or collateral or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And swept the Apes floor recently. So that's kind of like what was going on there. I don't know. I don't know, man. But speaking of influencers, I don't know if we want to touch on this. I know we're about to wrap up here. We got a nice little chunk done today. But BitBoy being removed from his company. Did you see his latest reveal?
Oh
Coming
man,
break.
that
It,
has
it was like,
been
I don't want to speak badly. Sorry, there's a damn fly on me. I don't want to speak badly of a man. Like anytime somebody's going through something, like it sucks. I will say, you should always try to be as kind as possible to people because you never know when you're going to really need someone to be kind to you. And,
right.
when you're not being like genuine and kind, like everyone is so quick just to be a dick and a know-it-all, LOL to the show name. Right. But like at the end of the day, man, we human. We're probably going to mess up at some point. So just try your best. And treat people well. Unfortunately, I saw him several times mistreat people and really talk down and be derogatory to him. I'm not going to take that route right now. But like
Hey
I
man,
said, man, you
let's
gotta,
get into it. This is know it alls. So look,
hey,
we
you
do
gotta,
want to bring some spicy takes, but we're never gonna disrespect anybody on here, bang. But we will tell the truth, right? So
hey,
here's the
exactly.
thing, Ben, aka Bit Boy, at the time, Ben has been a very character in this
To say the least.
in this industry, right? He's been, to say the least, he's been a colorful character. Anybody that has the pleasure or has had the pleasure or mispleasure of watching being that it's he's animated. It's a lot of different takeaways. A lot of people feels like he's been a bit of a grifter in this community. He's recommended a lot of projects that some have done okay. A lot of them have not done so well for his followers. So first of all, I've never seen anything like somebody. He created this Bit Boy brand, right? I don't think a lot of us even knew that he was not the owner of his company. So apparently, he put one of his friends over his company because he had some issues with credit and some more stuff that prevented him from really just taking full advantage of, or that wouldn't have benefited him and taking full advantage of owning the LLC and putting everything under his name. So he put it under the name of his friend. And I guess he felt like him and his friend were
Got
solid
him.
enough to where, yeah, that there would never come a time where his friend would kind of like snatch the company from under him. And this story comes out that Ben, who is self-admittedly been in, he self-admittedly had he was a recovering alcoholic, and he had some substance abuse issues in the past that by the grace of the divine above, he was able to beat, which congratulations to him. But they put out stories that he relapsed, and they had to let him go
That was
from the
crazy,
company.
right? Like that
Yeah,
was crazy. Just to
crazy because
publicly just be like, it was like, oh yeah, there's been an issue, blah blah, and he's relapsing. It was just like, yo, like y'all just casually threw that in there. That's kind of
yeah, man, it was crazy, and they fired him from his own company. Um, and but the story, he came back and refuted the story and refuted the claims, and he claimed that he had been taking like some weight loss pills or something else, and you know
Ozempic.
yeah, and he was that, and they found the pills, and they conspired against them to get him out of the company, and yada yada yada. And make a long story short, a call was released where he was claiming he was on the phone with a random guy that we still don't know who this gentleman was, but he was talking to Ben about him having an affair on his wife, and he admitted it. And then another video just surfaced. I saw it today where Ben was sitting with his wife, and they were talking, and I think Justin's back on. He's on his way back, but they were talking, and she was giving him grace and saying that she was gonna stand beside him in his corner. So it's been a whole cluster, people. It's been the situation has been a mess. So I don't believe that, first of all, anybody's personal life, as far as what they're doing with their spouse, as long as it's not any type of domestic abuse where they're harming this person. But in cases of like infidelity and stuff like that, I feel like that's up to the couple to work on themselves. That shouldn't really come into the fray of what's going on with cryptocurrency and a YouTube channel. And I just think this is it's an interesting situation, because I've never seen anyone's YouTube channel pretty much snatched from them and then being fired because of personal reasons. Like, to me, that's kind of like unjustifiable, right? And the thing that concerns me the most about this entire situation was on one of the calls. Ben was blaming one of his colleagues for all of the coins that he was recommending the community. So basically he was saying, well, every time I recommended a coin that didn't do well, I got it from my colleague, the guy that took his company from him. And to me, that's completely out. Like, that's unacceptable, because you were recommending these coins to the community under the guise that these are real, well researched coins that you were interested in. These are coins that you stood behind, that you saw a real use case for. So to kind of like pull the covers back and say that, all of this stuff was getting recommended to me, it that's unacceptable. And I don't think it did him any favor to reveal that information. But I think that the community should take note of that, and they should really use him as an example of what to look out for when they listen to some of these other influencers. Because this is the case with a lot of big crypto influencers, right? They get recommended these coins, or people pay them to talk about these coins, and they do it in the background, and they feel like it's a victimless crime, or they just feel like, well, if it all comes, worst comes to worst, I just act like I lost as well, and I didn't get paid to promote any of this stuff. When in actuality, a lot of people take different payments behind the scenes. So you always have to. So the moral of the story is to make sure you stay safe. As far as Big Boy goes, this is just more added on crypto drama. I'm sure that this situation with him, even though it's unfortunate, uh, by this time next month we'll be talking about something else that's unfolded in the space. I guarantee you, because there's no the cryptocurrency is the best show on earth as far as drama goes. Almost every week or every other day is some new drama popping off in space. So that's my take on that. Let's see if Justin pops back up. But other than that, man, I hope you all have enjoyed the episode. Oh, there he is. He's back. Hold on. Let's see if he jumps back in. Let's get. There he is.
Bruh.
Man, you missed my whole Bit Boy spiel.
I know, man. Like, and I was trying to get back. At first, I was just refreshing because it did it once earlier, right? And so I just like refreshed it, whatever, jump back in. Well, this time it kept kicking me out, kept giving me an error, so I had to restart my whole computer. Shit was crazy.
Oh man, so now, I'll catch you up on what I was on the meaty part of what I was saying about Bit Boy is that during one of the calls, because Ivan on Tech has been, shout out to Ivan on Tech. He's been covering the situation closely. Like, he's been giving all these different updates, and a lot of the situation that the way I've been staying updated is by watching what he's been putting out too. During one of the calls, when Bit Boy was explaining his side of the story, when he was talking about the weight loss pills or whatever he was taking, right? Towards the end of the call, he was saying that every time he's recommended a bad coin to the community, it didn't come from him. It came through a coin that his colleague gave him, recommended to him. And to me, that is like the most problematic statement out of this whole situation. Forget the affair, forget everything else. But for you to say that, well, you know, every time I gave a bad call or a bad pick, it didn't come from me. It came from my colleague, such and such, whatever his name is. Like, dude,
that's a cop out.
Yeah, that not only is it a cop out, bro, it doesn't do you any favors to admit that, because you aren't throwing him in the fire. So what you're basically saying is that, because to my knowledge, and I've watched his channel a few times, never was hot on anything that he recommended to the community, but have watched his channel, and he's always kicked it like, yo, everything that I'm recommending, this is what I like. You know, I've done my research, I've talked to the team, and blah 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 blah. And you know, this is a good project to invest in because they meet these credentials, and you know, this the utility that they plan on bringing to the space is something that's needed. You know, all of the good talk that, you know, everything that people want to hear. Yeah, all of the great talking points. He hit on every point. But now it's like, now you pull the covers back and it's like, well, you know, it wasn't me. It was my friend that told me to tell you the recommended stuff to you all. But it's like, dude, at the time that you recommended it, you kicked it like it was you, you know, and maybe your team helped you with some research. But for the most part, you knew what you were talking about, which, you know, it makes everything that everybody used to say about him being a grifter. That's kind of you admitting to being a grifter in this space, and you taking advantage of your community, you know.
Yeah, I remember like for those that don't know, like I used to help run the EYL Earn Your Leisure crypto community, and like they had BitBoy on at one point, and I remember just being like damn, like why y'all bringing this guy on? Like, and I made a comment. Probably should have just held my tongue, but I made a comment just like, yeah, this ain't like the one. Like, you know, he's known for doing some shady stuff, like blah 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 blah. And bro, the amount of hate I caught back from saying that, from like just speaking like what I truthfully seen, and most of the things I was saying came directly from the Zach XBT thread about BitBoy, and just like the you know, the call sheet, or the, what is it called, like the pricing sheet that they had, and just like how they went about like their, you know, putting some of these specific projects out. And he was rocking with the dude, the Moon Carl, who also like just seemed like he was doing some real shady stuff in the space. So I don't know, man. I always was just like turned off by it. Like, not to say like I was a BitBoy. I had like a BitBoy arc, right? Like I started the roller coaster. I was like, yeah, this guy's funny. Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, this guy's super engaged, to like, oh, like what's going on here? Like, oh, what is that? That's kind of weird. To like the Zach XBT thread hit. And at that point I was already all like coming down from the roller coaster, but it was just like the speedway all the way down. Like what the hell is going on with this dude? So You know, I guess it is what it is. I also seen him blow up on a few people at like conferences, like in-person
Yeah.
conferences. One was like a young lady, if I recall, and I like that was just like, yo, what? First of all, we're all human beings, like, you know, like I think like I have a few different places, like if you caught me online, you probably seen somewhere posted like lead with respect. And that's my thing, yo, just lead with respect. If we both lead with respect, then it's like a less likely
Yo,
chance
that's
of either
my
one of us
favorite
disrespecting.
quote. Lead with respect.
It makes it so much easier, right? If both parties are just leading with respect, obviously, you
Hmm.
know, respect and communication makes things go a long, long way. So, but after I saw that blow up with him, he was just like going crazy on this young lady at a conference. I was just like, all right, like, this guy is like, what is going on? But yeah, man, you know, I guess, yeah, good luck to you. Wish you well, right? And that's the best thing. Wish you well, man. Wish you well. We could leave it at that. But yeah, man, I don't know. We did a good. We got a good hour. We got a little bit more because we got the pre-footage as well. So I think it's a good time for us to kind of wrap up. I don't know if you have any specific thoughts or like one-liners you want to leave the people with. This isn't live, so we'll go ahead and chop this down. I'm gonna try to chop it down, edit it up, and just get some clips over to you, and then put out the full thing. I might put out the full thing with all the mess ups in it as well, and then put out a paused version. I don't know. We'll play around with it, but I
Yeah.
know we're gonna get back on this weekly, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. This is a new show that we hope you all enjoy. I plan on being here every Friday, every week, coming to you
Every
all
Friday.
every Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Um, yeah, and well, I'm gonna keep looking into some different production things as well because I'm thinking there might be a cool way where we could maybe like either host a space or run like a YouTube live where viewers can catch it live and catch kind of the raw, unedited us just being, you know, goofy, the cameras going out, the misses ups, the green screen coming in, going out, and then also doing like a version where so just the live audio actually. So forget the green screen. So like a live audio, like on Twitter Spaces, on podcast, maybe Spotify, whatever, doing the live audio and then releasing the video out. I got a few little tips and tricks, man. You know, I don't know if we're gonna
Yeah,
monetize,
I
but
got
we
some.
might end up
Yeah, yeah, man. I got some ideas too. Well, one idea in particular that we'll talk about off live one because I don't want nobody
yeah.
to steal
Hold on,
it.
let's wrap this
Uh,
thing up, man. We're going too
yeah.
deep. All right, all right. We appreciate you. What's your final thoughts here, man?
And my final thoughts is integrity, honor, discipline, and respect. If you live by these principles, you'll never go wrong. Treat it, and if you treat it as a suggestion, y- you know, uh, shoot, I messed up. Hold on. We're
Ah,
gonna strike that. We're
run
gonna
it back,
strike.
run it
Yeah, we're
back.
gonna strike
Hey,
that.
yo, one more time, yo,
Yeah,
Dave, man.
yeah.
We
No, no, no,
appreciate
no, no.
we appreciate
Yeah,
everybody
this.
being here with us, man. What are some final thoughts you got for us to end the little segment we had going on today? Appreciate everything.
Yeah, discipline, honor, integrity, respect. Treat it as a requirement more than a suggestion, and you'll never go wrong. Um, and these are the principles that we should all live by. Strive to do better every day. Hope everyone has a great week, and we look forward to seeing you all here again next Friday. Let us know how you like the show. Like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you comment because we want feedback for sure.
Yeah, man. Talk all the trash you need to, man. We just two cornballs making it happen. I don't care what you said. You heard? All right, man. I'll catch you next week, brother. And we out this mother.